I did not plan, I didn't put a title on here, but I won't be for you long. But I was just thinking, I was with my husband and I took a road trip, and I realized that um, we typically do not have the radio on or listening to something from our Bluetooth or anything like that. We are typically talking. And this trip was about 8 hours. We had the kids in the car. Sometimes they play with their tablets, sometimes they go to sleep. They're talking to each other. But I realized that whenever we go on these trips, these road trips, we are talking to each other the entire time. And so it made me realize that even with us being married for about 14 years, we always have something to talk about. So I have a new vetting rule. If you've been on this channel, you know I talk about vetting, and I have ways on to how to properly vet. But today I am going to add something to the vetting. So if you are dating and you're trying to vet to see who's the right man, if you're in a relationship with the right man or the right woman, man or woman, right? Add road trips. Add road trips. Now, when you're first in your first couple of months, you don't know each other. So most likely you're probably going to do a small road trip. And what I mean by that is go on a date. Like, so if you're going to go to eat or go wherever you're going, do something that takes 30 minutes to drive there. Not like something that's down the street. Do something that takes 30 minutes to get there, because 30 minutes will give you enough time to see if this person has their head on straight, their way of thinking. You have enough time to ask a whole bunch of questions to see how they respond. And you can be subtle about the kind of questions you ask about, whether it's about politics, whether it's, and I'm not saying this is what you do on the first date, because no one's gonna, hopefully you're going on you're meeting up on the first couple of dates. But once you get to know each other, you know, um, if you're a guy, you pick her up and take her somewhere, and it maybe takes 30 minutes, because you want to have time to know, does this person have their head on straight? How are they thinking? How do they feel about life, family, children, just random things? Because you're going to be talking about these things within 30 minutes. These things are going to come up. What are their interests? What do they like? That way, you know, if this person don't do anything but look good and they have nothing to talk about, you probably don't want to be in a relationship with them. Now, when you're approaching 3 months, I would say I would take a trip that takes an hour or more. I really would. Because sometimes people have nothing, like they don't know how to talk about anything other than themselves. They don't know how to talk about what they want out of life. All they talk about is the superficial, surface level things, and you don't want that. You want to be in a relationship where someone can actually have engaging conversations. And if a man is only talking about his money, or if a woman is only talking about what she wants, like what she material things, then you don't want to be with that person. I truly believe that road trips where you're having to talk to someone for at least an hour, that is really going to make a huge effect on if this relationship is going to work. You would know right off the bat, because, and you guys know how I feel about when going on dates. A lot of people say, "Oh, I want 5-star restaurant, I want this," but see, it takes away from what the date is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about talking and get to know the person, but a lot of times people are going to the movies, they're eating, they're doing something else that's going to distract them from having real conversations. So to do that, I'm thinking long trips. I'm thinking when you're first in the first, third or fourth date, 30-minute drive to get wherever you're trying to get to on a date. After that date, you'll know. You'll know. And then and if you're going in 3 months, go an hour, go to the next city over, right? Maybe 2 hours. If you guys been together for at least 4 months, maybe take somewhere that's 3 hours. I, I'm telling you, so many people just really, you can't have a conversation with them. You really don't know, like, what are you thinking? Why are you talking like you're not intelligent? Because there's a lot of people that you think that they're intelligent, but the more you are listening to them, they know a lot of nothing. And women really want to be mentally stimulated. They really do. And there's a lot of men out here, if you're listening, you probably want to be mentally stimulated, and you don't want to just be talking to an airhead. At least I hope that's not the case. And so I was just thinking, because I'm sitting in the car and my husband and I for about 9 hours, great conversation. I mean, we're around each other all the time. And we still don't have things to, like, we're not running out of things to talk about. So we still have good conversation. And you would think after being with someone for a while that the conversations get like blah, is a repeat. But my husband and I, we talk about politics, we talk about life, we talk about our interests, what's our next steps, what we want to do. And we had long conversations when we spent hours on the phone talking when we were dating, hours in person. But these days people aren't doing that. I think it should be a requirement now, as part of the vetting process. You all make sure that you have a good hour in-person conversation, in person, not over the phone, not texting, but a good hour at once, in one sitting. Not a total hour for the day, but in one sitting, before you go on this date or after the date. Just a good 1 hour, no other activities, just straight talking. I don't mind walking and talking on a date. I don't mind, these coffee dates where you're not focused on something else, but you're strictly listening to the person, asking organic questions, not interview style questions. This should be a requirement for dating now. It really should be. And because I'm hearing from people that dating is slim pickings these days. It's hard to find people that is best for you, because it's like, man, this person is not what I thought they were. No more over food. No more of these kind of dates. Dates now should be just, we're gonna go straight to talking. I need to know how you are. And if the conversations are bleak in the first like 20-30 minutes of the conversation, maybe we should cut the date short, because we don't need to waste each other's time. We don't need to have a 2-hour date and then you were like irritated listening to them speak after the first 10 minutes. No. Like, I think that sometimes people are just trying to be nice and they're on these dates and they're like, man, that was a horrible date. And they knew it was horrible within the first 5 to 10 minutes. We just need to be honest with people and say, hey, we don't need to go anywhere to eat. Let's just go somewhere and talk and see how we like it in the first couple of minutes. And this is how you just really determine, is this really the right person? No one's wasting money. No one's wasting time, but the little bit of time that you're spending, but no one's wasting all this unnecessary time. Someone asked, how often do you speak to one another on the how often did you speak to one another on a 9-hour trip? I slept probably 45 minutes out that whole trip. 45 minutes to an hour. Other than that, we talked the entire time. And of course, we talk when we get to the hotel, we talk here. So the entire time, and I don't even think we made but like one stop. So it was just nonstop having conversations. One, I try to stay up when he's driving, because I think that it's not a good idea to just let the person sit there and just drive while you sleep away. So I try to have full conversations with him. We talk about any and everything, and it's back and forth. It's not like just one person doing all the talking. So, hey, what do you think about this? So, what do you think about that? And I ask his input, and he'll have deep conversations, and we go back. Sometimes we have, really witty repartee. So I think that you can talk to someone for 8-9 hours. You can try it with your friends. A lot of times people think about, oh, the opposite gender. Oh, I don't know if I can talk to them that long. Or try going on a road trip with some friends. You'll talk the entire time on the trip. Think of your spouse as your best friend. My husband's my best friend. Think of your girlfriend or your boyfriend as your best friend. I hope they would be. I mean, I'm pretty sure you would have other friends too, but think of them as a friend. How people can talk to their friends for hours on a road trip, hours going somewhere. Well, you can do it with your partner. And if you feel like the conversation is dead after an hour and you literally are just forcing yourself to have a conversation, you might want to consider the person that you're with. Like, why are we not having mentally stimulating conversations consistently? Yeah it depends on the person and their interests. And all of my interests are not aligned with my husband. And what I mean by that is there are going to be some things that I like that he may not like, right? There's going to be some movies, some music, some things that interest him that does not interest me. There's going to be some things that I think a little bit differently. As long as your standards and your values are the same, that's what you want. You want these fundamental things to be consistent with one another, because that is going to be where you're unequally yoked when you get to that point about how you view life, how you view family, how you view yourselves, how you view health. Those things, when they're different, it can affect the relationship. But just because this person likes country music and this person likes rap, or this person likes, the 70s, and this person like, jazz, like it, those things aren't going to affect it. So, and of course, my husband and I have interests that are similar and some that are different. We have a lot of things that are similar actually, but there are some things that are different. How we view a few things, and I'm not saying you're gonna be on the T in how you view everything. Because sometimes you may hear how a husband and wife may view discipline differently, and that's okay, because one, we're men and women, and we're not gonna be exactly the same, but your overall premise is the same. The base of it. How you go about it may be differently, which it should be, in some ways, because men and women think differently, so they're going to process things differently and handle situations differently. So, so like I said, I wasn't going to be with you all long, but yeah, if you watched the video where I talked about vetting, and I had the different stages of vetting. I think I had 3 stages. The first 3 months, or I may have had like the first 2 weeks, and then the first 3 months, then 6 to 9 months, and 9 months to a year. I think I have something like that. But I would incorporate in that first 3 month stage, it needs to be some type of road trip. Starting with when you are in the first couple of dates, take one date where you're going 30 minutes. It takes 30 minutes to get to your destination, and talk the entire time and see what the conversations sound like. Because if you're irritated with this chick or this dude after 30 minutes, you may count your losses, right? And then you don't have to worry about, oh my God, because some people get confused about, oh, the place where we ate was great. No, but the person wasn't great. That's why we got to get out of this 5-star restaurant and where we go to eat and things like that. And then again, if you are like going into month 2 and 3, try to take a road trip where it's, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and see how those conversations go. I think it's important. I mean, I don't think my husband and I went on a road trip. I'm trying to think. When we were dating, we didn't go far. I think there was a time. Now, you know what? We did. It wasn't part of my vetting process. I mean, we're like 21, whatever, but we went to Tallahassee. That was 2 hours from where we were at the time. And we went there. We went there actually a couple of times. That's 2 hours there. That's 2 hours back. So you got to think, that's lots of conversations we're having. Lots of conversations. So yeah, I think and there was times we did a quite a few trips that probably took 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. I mean, I didn't think about it. That wasn't my intent then, of course. Oh, well, let me do this. Like when I was vetting, all those things were based on my experience with vetting, all the stuff that's in my video about vetting. It wasn't something I intentionally set, like, this is what I'm going to do with every person. It's just something I just did on a habit. It's maybe because how my mom taught me, this is what you do in relationships. And so that's how I did it. But I don't think I was checking a box every time I was dating. Now, once again, I didn't go on a lot of dates. So if you're like, hey, why should I listen to you? You didn't go on a lot to date. Exactly. Because my goal is to tell you how to get your husband if you're a woman, how to, be married to a good woman if you're a man. So I don't want you to have to go through 50 first dates before you find the one. I'm hoping that if you do these things, you can be with someone after the first few, after a few dates with different people, you'll find the one that's best for you, and then you can be married, because that's what I want. I want marriage. I want people to be married. And there's no point of having, 50 first dates, losing all your money on all these dates. And now you don't want to be dating because all your money is gone taking this woman out on a date, or if you're a woman, being frustrated after going on date after date after date. My goal is to get you going from dating to relationship to engaged to married, all to the same person. That's how I did it. That's how I did it. I think my husband was my third boyfriend, fourth, something like that. So, and I'm counting like every person that I was like really not even that I was in like a full relationship with, but every person I talked to, I'm counting that, because I didn't have time for all that. Yeah. Let's see. Child of Elohim definitely should leave being physical with them before marriage. Yeah, that helps keep the mind clear during pregnancy. Yes, you got to do that. You gotta find ways to get the blinders off, and all that does is complicate things. All it does, having children with them, having sex with them, living with them, all those things complicate things. Vetting should be, when you're vetting, you don't want to have all these situationships stringing along. Even if it's a situation with your ex, like, cut all those ties off. Focus on one person. That's why I believe that when you're dating, you should date one person at a time. How are you going to put all your interests in one person and know if they're best if you're doing too much juggling? And for you to do that, you have to be surface level. But if you really want to be dating like more than one people, go on some mini road trips. That way you can easily weed people out. Trying to gauge them by how much money they spend, how they look, and all that surface level stuff, all you're doing is prolonging the time before you realize that this person is probably an idiot. All right? So I understand dating gets bleak, and this is why I'm offering this advice. Take mini road trips. Start with 30 minutes when you're early on, move it to an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I'm not saying you have to do more than that. I'm just saying try that. All right. I am out of here. Let me go ahead and go. I'm going to be doing another video, sending you guys some videos soon without this live. So I'll be sending you another video later this week, probably 2 more this week. If you haven't, go to Philip Scott Show. Check me out, because I put some videos over there. So there should be some videos dropping soon on the Philip Scott Show. All right. Thank you. Bye.